Good morning, everyone. It is November the 1st, 2019, and in this episode, we are going to take a look at a chart pattern that is combined with our indicators, and it's really giving us a great entry point with an ideal risk to reward ratio here today. So we're coming to one of those moments again in Bitcoin, but at the same time, many of the altcoins are more ready than ever to take back their market share. And so it isn't a certain guarantee. We're going to jump into our indicators and see what they're telling us here today. Welcome to 24 Hours of Bitcoin. Of course, this isn't actually trading advice. This is just market observation. And it matches our trading plan that you can go and download from the website introdocryptos.ca. Let's jump in. And this is the main image that I used on the thumbnail. That when this crosses positive, Bitcoin will be going up. This is one of the main indicators that I love watching, and that's the MACD indicator. This is looking at the 4-hour time frame, and we're at a pretty precarious spot right now. If we're considering this to be a 1, 2, 3 top or a consolidation flag, it's a very good spot right now for getting a low risk to reward ratio if you're going long or if you're going short. Because it's come to this really wicked point in the triangle, then we can have our entry and our exit very close together. So if you were to go long as it was starting to break out, or even go long now and then decide, are you correct or not? You've got a very narrow level to decide, well, I'm wrong, or yes, I'm right. Same thing with short. If you were to take a short position now and prices broke above these levels, it's clear that you're not correct. This kind of triangle pattern gives us some really great places to establish a starting position and then build on it later when we're correct. And what the episode here today is to go into these indicators and see what they're telling us about the point of this triangle. Then at the end of the episode, we'll go back and we'll take a look at Bitcoin dominance and the cryptocurrencies themselves, because some of them are setting up to some really wicked patterns right now. Really amazing patterns that we've been waiting for and watching for a long time. Now, I'm not sure what I have marked up in here. Oh, actually, I do remember. Let's zoom into the... Let's zoom in and get rid of everything and just look at the volume on these 2 days. Really key. And what was the relative strength index doing under these 2 days? Here it was a little bit of a divergence and then went up. Here we have a bigger divergence. It's come up and pulled back a little bit right to the midline. And the most important thing is these volume. When we strip away everything else, then you can see how important these volume days are. This one is a big volume day in the middle, but it's not as important for me. It's more of an exhaustion candle and not a starting candle. So let's put the chart back. Here we can see this started something. It went sideways for a while and we had some, and off we went. But this volume with this big move is amazing. And I do believe this is the beginning of something, even though we could go sideways for a while and alt could be starting to take off. This volume candle is incredibly important, especially when we're mixing it with the RSI here. Let me clear this off now and then zoom in closer to the RSI. So we're looking now at this point, I am not looking for oversold or overbought. I'm looking for this trend line to break. Top or bottom, I want to see this trend line in the RSI breaking or not. So here it gets a little bit more clear for us, and I like it. It makes me smile. As this starts to come up off of this line, if we're starting to break positive on this, I want to pay attention. If we're breaking above this line as we're breaking positive here, I'll bet you dollars to donuts that the MACD indicator is going to be crossing at that very same time on the 4-hour time frame. So we've got I love when they all line up like this, and I love it that we can record it and use this as case studies for later lessons, because every one of these situations will occur again. Every one of these skills that you build for your trading turns into an asset in your pocket that you can use over and over again, and you can improve it. So hopefully sometimes on these live streams you get that one little tidbit that can change your trading dramatically. You know the difference between a first place and a second place horse in a race is sometimes $100,000 down to $20,000 for second place winning. And the first place guy only won by a nose. It takes those slight, small advantages to really shift the odds into your favor. And I hope you pick up some of those in these streams. Let's zoom in. This is just crazy for me. I'm just watching this bullshit pattern set up here. It seems like we're going to get a big candle to the upside. And it wasn't seeming so obvious yesterday. Yesterday we were right here in the live stream as it flipped around. And most of our indicators were not that bullish except for the Bollinger Band. So I'm keen to get to that part of our episode here today. Let's go back to the volume. What are we on? 5-minute bars. 5-minute bars, taking off. Gotta zoom in. No, let's go back to the 1 week view. And again, we are reviewing against this pattern from the past. And the more we can get evidence and data that this is exactly what's happening, the more we should be knowing that we are long at probably greater leverage than normal. This is what I call a nitro spot in a trade pattern. Not quite yet, actually, but it's the within the parallel channel. You come to the 1, 2, 3 bottom on the bottom side of the parallel channel, and you get all these indicators lining up. It's nitro. That's where a straight stretch is, and you put the pedal to the metal in your car. That's when you add on the boost. Never on a corner. You always go into the bushes if you hit the gas when you're going through a corner. Wait for the straight stretch, then hammer down. So this is what I'm looking for, is this to come around the corner and give me the straight stretch and hammer down on this. Let's go on to the MACD and zoom out. The weekly candle isn't getting as much juice from me until tomorrow and Sunday. It's Friday already, my goodness. Yet, this, I gotta zoom in on this. So when I zoom in on this weekly candle, through the episodes now, if you've been watching for a while, watching for this histogram to start pulling back. When is it pulling back? When? Finally, last week, it pulled back right near the end of the week, because on Thursday, it was longer. On Friday, when we had that big turnaround, then this histogram pulled itself back in the middle of the week. In the middle of a day, actually, this switched from being longer to shorter. So now we have it confirmed shorter through this week, which is very good for the bullish turnaround. If this continues to stay shorter or shortens even more than this as we're going through the next couple days, that adds on more juice. And we should see that in the daily continuing to stay positive and flaring wider if we're getting strength from right now. So as we're going in and we're anticipating strength, then we have to have this 12-hour cross to the positive again. It can do these loops underneath and cross back positive quickly, and we need to see that if we're breaking higher. This is one of the things that is like all's good, except this is like a ceiling that if we don't get this to cross, we're not going to go as far. So if I pull this back, you can see where we are. Still looking good to me, even at that. Whoops, let's go to the 4-hour. So here is the big crossover event right here. When this crosses over, we're in. So let's zoom into the closer time frames to see what's going on this. It is just crossing to the positive now. Oh, this makes me smile too, because look at this cross to the positive, touching cross to the positive again right here. And then it's important to put this into perspective. It gets squished so you can't see it. But look at where this is crossing to the positive and giving us that wicked divergence. Let me see if I can make this stand out. It's hard to get the scales so that you can see them both. So when I open this up and you can see this divergence setting up on this time frame and across to the positive on the 1 hour, I'm betting that the 4 hour is going to be crossing positive here shortly. And that will be our indicator. That'll be support for going long. 15-minute time frame, cross to the positive through this stuff. Good. But we still need to break this range, and this has to stay positive. Wicked. Let's go to the Ichimoku cloud and zoom out to the long-term view. The red is increasing. So the blue is not coming up to meet the red and pass it again. So that is still bearish overall, just because the blue has crossed below the red. But this would stay as a bullish indicator basically until we come off this cloud or break through it. So just overall, like in the weekly view, if you had purchased in here when the 12-hour EMA crossed over, you could still be in this trade according to the Ichimoku cloud and never have to do anything on that trade. I love those trades. The less work, the better. Now we're looking at the 1 day. Oh, this is the first time the 1 day has done this. For a long time now, we've been watching the 1 day saying, wow, it is so bearish. It has really proved us bearish. It's awesome. I love it. It was so good all the way through here. It was way ahead of me. And that's why I went short here. Now, as we're zooming in, look, the blue has just crossed above the red. Should we now come up above this cloud and twist to the positive, then we have all of everything going along to have broken the downtrend line from this, and it's going to be a whole different story. We're going to play a whole different game, and then we're coming into the melt, I'll call it. I just made that up. But if we go through this range and we melt through it like we did through this range, where everybody was expecting, so that wicked support and resistance, it's going to pounce off here. Me too. And then it just absolutely went through. If we're going to do that now, it's setting up. We're in that spot. We're in that spot, and this is that's really exciting to me to zoom in on this and see this. Wicked. Let me zoom in more. Let me go to the 12-hour, because the 12-hour is also giving us a positive signal here. We are way above everything. The blue is way above the red. We've twisted to the positive. We are up above the cloud, building support above these technical levels. That's all bullish in the Ichimoku cloud. 4-hour time frame could be a buy signal in the uptrend of an Ichimoku cloud if the blue crosses above the red as the prices are moving up, and of course it will. Then we have a buy signal in the Ichimoku cloud on the 4-hour time frame. So this is all setting up so amazing. I love days like this. This is so much more fun than watching all the alts go down and down and down. We'll take a look at those in a second though. Here's a bit of a bowl shape inside this 1, 2, 3 formation. The blue line has to cross above the red. We have to have this twist to the positive on the 1 hour. And then we're getting confirmations like on all time frames. Crazy. We're breaking above this and we have confirmations on all time frames, on all indicators of a go for launch. I'm going to zoom back out to the 1 weekly view of and we must be looking at the log view. Look at the difference between the Bollinger Bands on a normal view and the Bollinger Bands on a log view. The blow off top here, look what happened to the bands. Look what happened to the bands here as we blew off to the top here on the weekly view. Now the bands are narrow. Now the bands are narrow. We're down below the midway. We're down below the midway. Let's zoom in now and see what goes on this, and we'll go back and forth to the log view as this is moving so that we can get some of that insight. Let's zoom in. On the 1 week view, we had the nice narrow band here, and whipsaw, the two bad boys got out and beat everybody up. Whip and saw, crazy out of that narrow move right there. That was a difficult period. I was long through this little bit, and then my long got kicked out at a small profit, and then I didn't go long here. I was watching. I was anticipating that we had just finished more of the pissing off the roof formation, but we bounced up and splashed here. Let's zoom in a little bit. Because the 1 day is coming off the top of the range. The 12-hour is coming off the top of the range too. I've been really watching the 12-hour and the 4-hour, trying to get a handle on when does the 4-hour really give us the best signal. I've been finding that when we come back and the 12-hour is touching its band and the 4-hour is touching its band at the same time, it's a good place for a buy signal. So we can see here, I'm going to circle these 2 spots, these 3 spots, 4 spots that are clear in hindsight. Now I'm going to go to the 4-hour time frame and zoom back so we can see those 4 spots. And sure enough, the 4-hour touches the band at the same time, touches the band, touches the band. So here, Here we have a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and the 4-hour is touching the band, and I step back to the 12-hour, and we are not touching the band right there. So it doesn't quite match my ideal spots for the 4-hour to be a turnaround spot. And yet we are above the midline here. So long as we're staying above this midline, that matches what we're doing in the uptrend. So long as we stay above this midline, we're okay. So crossing below this midline on the 12-hour time frame is going to be important, very important, because it's actually below this technical support resistance level. Let's see what happens as the prices go sideways now. Now that we're observing the difference between the 4-hour and the 12-hour, and this is just coming down to the midline on the 12-hour, I want to know. Of course, on a break above this, all the other indicators are going green. I'm just observing this and putting these patterns together for my own pattern recognition. Trying to match together my 1, 2, 3 formations with the Bollinger Band and the other indicators to give myself that extra little edge. And I really think we found something amazing. What's this time frame? Let's zoom in. I think we found something really amazing yesterday as we were in the live stream. As this happened, right at this very moment, and we were watching the 4-hour Bollinger Bands, it was giving us a buy signal while everything else was indecisive or a sell signal. Those are the kind of discrepancies that I want to study and map out so that I can put them together in the future. If I see that discrepancy setting up, you know I'm going to be taking a stronger position on that. And then the next time I'm going to take a stronger position again, and every time I'll be more aggressive with it. Now, that runs through the routine here, and I want to do that routine quickly like a presentation, and then I'll come back to the chat every day so that all of us can come back to this episode sometime in the future and watch that first part, and then we know that within the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we have the same data, reviewing the same data, and we can make our decisions off of it. I hope that, it's part of your complete breakfast type of thing. And then I'll look at the chat. So we got Dan, good to have you along. He was here before we even started. And Mick, good to have you here too. Thank you very much. Yo, the king, East Coast Cookie Boys. East Coast Cookie Boys, I remember you were here before. You had a good recommendation. Can't remember what it was though. Do you think the market will fill the CME gap? No. No, the CME was behind. Things happened when the CME was closed. Probably intentional that we'll see things happening big on Friday and Saturdays because it can be manipulated and the other markets can't respond. If the economic war really is as big and nasty as it might be between China and United States, between Russia and United States sets itself up so that its citizens cannot use short trading as readily as other people in the world, it may be that we have an economic war on the weekends when the US markets can't respond properly and the rest of the world can do better. I don't know, but I don't think it's going to fill that gap just because there is a discrepancy between the markets being open or not. And those that are closed while things happen, I don't think that's going to close. And I don't know, we'll see if that does close and then come back up again. That's weird. I don't get it. Let's go on now. OAXBTC. Oh, I was going through some of these altcoins here this morning, and we've got some amazing setups. I didn't finish here yet. We got Bitcoin dominance going on. That's not dominance. This is Bitcoin longs versus Bitcoin shorts. And I've got the price of Bitcoin up above both, so that and the dates matched up here. So we can see that on the 25th, all the shorts went down. That would be expected as prices are blasting up. I don't get it though how the shorts were building up here and then they've dropped off at this little bit. And more curious is that through the big move up, the longs were taking profits as things were going up. Then through this period of time, the longs were getting all excited and building up, and then everybody started to get bearish and everybody's closing their long positions. So now that we've made this little bowl-shaped pattern, 1, 2, 3 off this bottom, we've got the MACD going to cross positive, we've got a divergence in the RSI. The Bollinger Bands is set up on the 4-hour time frame for a reversion trade. And we have super low longs. I think we're going to blast right up super hard. all of those things put together, plus the fact that the longs have come down, if the crowd is usually wrong, we're going up. And then we have Bitcoin dominance, which is rising right now. And this is really key when we zoom out to this level and I grab something I can scribble with, because of April the 1st. April the 1st is very much like we see here, big volatility, uncertainty, and then Bitcoin goes up. And the alts can't take it. They just don't have the market share right now. They haven't got the news, they haven't got it. And not only that, the bad guys, well, the other guys, the institutions probably, they know more than us. They know these patterns better than I do. They already see this stuff. They know that they can hammer the markets right now and they can drive it down another 30 to 50% on many of these markets, and they don't have to do that much work. It's going to be fear and panic that's going to be working on their side. So let's go and take a look at some of those alts. So if you have a request and you want me to take a look at a specific alt, let's bring it up. And I'll run it through the paces. What am I looking for? When Bitcoin moons, I think the alts are going to get crushed again, and we'll know by measuring Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is the measure of altcoin crushage. So as Bitcoin dominance is going up, this is the measure of altcoins on general being crushed. And you can see that through this period here, this means that the altcoins were doing better. And right through this period, what's the date here? October 13th, October 18th, 19th, 20th. Pay attention to these dates. Let me clear this off and circle this again so that we're looking at these dates here. Specifically, I'm going to go into a different chart here and I'm going to show you these dates. I'm going to show you these dates and then I'm going to show you a solution that is going to help you manage what you're doing with the altcoins. And I'm going to show you some inside details about what everybody else was doing and what we were doing. But first, let's go up to history shows that the gaps close all the time. I know, not all the time, but most of the time. OAX. OAX. It's good for my alphabet studies. One hour time frame. The first thing I see when I look at OAX is all of these top formations and a bear flag. Pardon me here a second. There we go. I wanted to unmute my mic, not clear the screen. Pushed the wrong button. So, clear this off. Clear this off. This is a top formation to me. Let's zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. It's a top formation and it's a market we never did anything with all the way along here because it went sideways. This is one of the two different types of 1, 2, 3 bottom formation you want to avoid like the plague. This is a soul crusher. This is a soul sucker. This is watching everything else go up while you're sitting holding the bag. And the thing is, we got a 1, 2, 3 bottom potential, but it never went anywhere. It didn't actually change directions. So one of the worst 1, 2, 3 bottom formations is that sideways. It comes down and it just goes sideways. And we don't know how long it'll go sideways, so we just don't want to play here. And we didn't get into any of this stuff because it didn't break this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. There was a whole raft of coins that did this, and we just never were able to get into them. They never moved. And from my bias right now, thinking that Bitcoin dominance is going to go up, Bitcoin is going to rise, everybody's going to panic, this is going to spike down and give us the capitulation lows that we haven't had yet. Everything's come down and gone flat, down and gone flat. We've come down and gone flat, but we haven't had the big capitulation. That is the parabolic move downward, a panic, you know, the blow off bottom, same as the blow off top, same psychology, same fear, same emotional sentiment. And then we see it come to something like this after, like a heartbeat, wham, and everybody has been stunned. Everybody's been screwed. It's all the money has completely changed hands after something like this. And then the market gets an idea of what might be going on. And either we're going to continue on down the pissing off the roof formation as we've seen like this, or we are going to bottom and we're going to start rising. So we'll see in the coins which ones are actually doing it, and this one probably will, and it'll be on the watch list hard, big time. If it does come down like that, then we're watching for a whole new 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. This is all flat and sideways. That's it for that. So when Bitcoin moons, I think the alts will get crushed, and we'll watch it here. And in a second, let me do a couple more of these different requests, and then I'm going to show you the spreadsheet to show you what we were doing through this period of Bitcoin dominance. Coming up, this is when everybody's excited about the alts doing good, right? Right here is when everybody's all panicking. So I'll show you that spreadsheet in a second. Mr. ACY Cool, good to have you join us from England. I love it. This is the internet never ceases to amaze me. Never ceases. So let's go take a look at NEO, because it's been making some noise. And if this is going up, NEO's not gonna, it's like it's going up on a down escalator. The whole thing is going down. So for one to go up against that is pretty important. That's pretty good. And this is what we watch for. We do have a trade alert in NEO that was triggered as this broke out. So we're holding a profitable trade in NEO. And once it's gone up like this and we're profitable, it's not my job anymore to decide how far it's going to go. Now it's up to the market. And you know what? My EMAs aren't here. So when it's up to the market, then I'm going to wait for the 4-hour exponential moving averages to cross over before I get out. And so I love it, because then I'm done working. I don't have to look at this. I look for 2 seconds and I'm done. And then later what I'm going to look for is the add-on spot. So for my own part, I don't like to add on early. I've done that way too many times. Take a good initial trade, add on to it too early, then it pulls back. I got to close the position. I close it at a loss overall, and then the market takes off. And so if I be a bit more patient and wait for it, then I can get into a trade like this. I've got my stop loss above it. Say I've got 100 coins, I don't know. And now if it breaks higher than this, I could buy another 100 coins. My average entry is here and my stop loss is already above my average entry. So I can add on here, guaranteed, knowing that overall I'm still going to be profitable. That's when I can add on. And so for my own part, it's a longer wait generally for the add-on, because I want to be sure that I'm not getting to add on just at the last minute and then everything has to close. So for my own part, I've become a little bit more patient on things like this. And let me clear this off and zoom in, because I don't know if that was what you were asking. But if I go to the indicators, it's pretty overbought. I would sit here and hold it. I wouldn't be as eager to buy in just because of the overall market, and then because of my discipline to the trading system rather than my own feeling about it. It is doing a 1, 2, 3 formation. The RSI is building higher. It is what my trading plan. This is my trading formation, and it doesn't matter which time frame it is. The only difference is that when I'm trading in a smaller time frame, I'm trading position size proportionate to the time frame. So if it's a 1-hour time frame doing this, I may take a bigger position. On a, what is this, 15-minute time frame, while Bitcoin dominance is sketchy, I would start off super small. If I had to on this, I would. But because Bitcoin dominance is edging up this way and Bitcoin looks like it's going to be taking off, I'm sketchy on starting out on any of the alts right now, especially ones that have already broken out. There are, sketchy or not, that's the trading plan. That's the trading system right there. And so it's just a matter of you just take your trade and you don't think about it. Take a small trade on that, add on to it later when it's profitable, but sketchy yet right now. Okay, what does the Bollinger Band say about, what was that again? NEO. Bollinger Band. Limit it to BTC. Get rid of my favorites. Scroll down a bunch to NEO. Bollinger Bands. Okay, it's way at the top of the Bollinger Band here. Zoom in. It was a very narrow band on the 12-hour time frame. Sure got narrow. Like everything's getting super narrow. So the 1, 2, 3s inside these ranges they're not going to give us much warning. We have had months of warning. We should be prepared. You know, stage one of the trade is to prepare where your entries are going to be, where your exits are going to be, where your stop loss is going to be. So this trading system gives us lots of time to be prepared in advance, but if it takes off and you are not already prepared, I try not to FOMO into them afterwards. But instead, I know that the market is starting to turn, and I'm going to go research all of the charts that are looking like this now. I go back, okay, evidence is here. We can see that things are starting. Where has it not started yet? That's where I want to play. Let's zoom into the 4-hour time frame. I like it. Consolidating on this, it's not against the bottom of the band for a buy signal, it's crossing the middle. And on the 12-hour time frame, if I use my 12-hour rule there, it is not near the bottom of the band at the same time as the 4-hour. So it's not an add-on spot for me. That's a beautiful combination for explaining the add-on spot for me. Let's wait and watch this unfold and see if I can get a few of those. And at the same time, there's a 1, 2, 3 formation, narrow band breaks above this RA signal. And it's just up to you to decide, is this my signal or not? What should I do with my stops? Where should I put my entry? Maybe buy with a little limit order just below the market and then sneak it up so it's just right close, close, close. And let it come back and tick you in. Then you can immediately put your stop loss just below these technical levels. And that's the standard way to do it, right? You're putting the market in, you think you're going to be right, you put your trade on, you put your stop loss, and then you let the market prove you wrong. And you will always take bigger losses than you need to if you trade that way. But XML has been pumping the last 24 hours. If that's the case, then we should see Ripple pumping too. These usually are tied together. Okay, here's another pumper. So I've really got to pay attention to what's going on with Bitcoin dominance now. If it does not flag up and these are pumping, that's important. Where did that chart go? Okay. So if that's going, then Ripple should be going. And Ripple isn't yet, so there's our advanced opportunity maybe. Let me go to, just easier for me to bring it up quickly if I go to Poloniex. So NEO looks like it's breaking out right now. And I did publish a number of new alerts here this morning in the Pro Alerts package, because we have a number of coins that are doing what I call the springboard pattern. So we can have the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, but there are variations of the 1, 2, 3 pattern that we don't have to wait for the same amount of time. And as these are setting these bottoms up, we have some great setups right now. So the Pro Alert subscribers, be sure to log in to the Today page on the website so that you can see those new alerts from today. And you can also see what changes and what alerts were coming up from yesterday as well. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, the 12-hour exponential moving average is almost crossing over. So as a trend trader, a lazy trend trader, I would wait for it to come up above these levels. As an aggressive reversal trader, I might have taken a position out of this little tiny 1, 2, 3 here. And then I'm going to be searching for all of the markets that are making 1, 2, 3 formations right here like this. So we've got a larger 1, 2, 3 over the months, and we have a smaller 1, 2, 3 over the last few days. Those are the markets that are setting up right now to be hot. And those are the markets that we are focusing on. Awesome. So these, we say this is pumping, but we've grown complacent to what a real pump is. We can have some amazing moves in this market. They are coming. Let me go over AGI, BQX, and Lend. Lend has done a big move here. Get rid of my favorites. AGI was a market I was super keen on earlier, and I'll bet you the Bollinger Bands are going to give us a whole bunch of reversion signals right there. So now we're at historical lows. I like it. We're making a 1, 2, 3 formation. I like that. So those are signals for me. And yet I want to have the break of the downtrend line to confirm it. So I like to have the break of the downtrend line, the break of the downtrend line, and the 1, 2, 3 pattern breaking to the other side, plus the 12-hour EMA crossing over. Let me clean all this up so we can see the 12-hour EMA. The 12-hour EMA is not near crossing over yet. It'll probably need to build structure and come up above these levels for that real trend traders entry. If we were zooming into the 4-hour time frame, then we can see we get, oh, actually, if we zoom in closer and zoom back just a bit, you see it already, and I don't have to tell you. Oh, I gotta clear this off. Because we have a 1, 2, 3 formation right there. Then we have a 1, 2, 3 formation right here. Then we have a 1, 2, 3 formation building up right here with an ascending wedge triangle at the end. That is delicious. It is absolutely fantastic. Just because it's a reversal pattern at historical lows, but also because it has come to that risk to reward ratio moment. I'm super pumped you brought this market up and I get a chance to dig into it like this. I'm very glad to have you guys along, for sure. So we could be putting on a position to get that limit order close up behind. Don't do a market order. You will pay. Why pay? Do a limit order. Sneak it up really close behind. And just this one tip will save you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars in your trading fees. It will save you hundreds and hundreds and perhaps thousands of dollars in your FOMO costs when you are FOMOing in on something that is already breaking out. Instead, learn the pattern ahead of time, sneak your position in there, and you've got your risk to reward ratios really nice and tight. If it starts to break off, everybody else is FOMOing in and they are paying those extra fees of going in with a market order, of going in when things are slipping. There's all sorts of slippage because market's moving too fast. Things can't keep up. You're over on BitMEX and you're saying order can't be filled. The system's overloaded. You're hitting buy, 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 buy. Finally, you get to buy, and it's right at the time that somebody else is putting in huge sell orders because they're watching the Bollinger Bands reversion trading. So I hope this combination really helps out somebody watching the stream because TV, you brought up a really good chart here. We've been able to go over the entry pattern and the strategy for putting on a position that is going to save you tons of money. Looking at the risk to reward ratio for the entry, and this is the hard work of trading, right? Watching all of the stuff and identifying all of that and putting it into a spreadsheet so that you can track it later. How well did you do on which kind of trade? This is the real hard work of trading, and it's part of what I try to do on your behalf. I do the work, so I may as well make it available. If it helps you, it's worth a fee, and so there is a small fee for it. Let's go on. Yeah, AGI does look sexy. Indeed, Dan. Looks like a bullish Harmony monthly pattern. Chris Baker, I'm not sure which chart you were chatting about as I was blasting through there. And I've seen a number of people talking about harmonics, and every time I see the harmonics, I just see the 1, 2, 3 formations in it and think it looks pretty. Now BKRX we've been watching for a few days here, and it's much the same story as yesterday. We're still waiting for this downtrend line break in the trading plan I like to do. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It could be the moment, but generally I'm going to step back, even if it is the moment, and I'm going to be doing other things while this market takes its time to build me something bigger. I don't want to jump in when the exponential moving averages are not crossed positive. For me, this is still sit. Be disciplined. Actually, don't be disciplined. Do something else. But sit. This isn't a market that has proven it's going to be turning around yet. It isn't even a sideways 1, 2, 3 market. It is a downtrending 1, 2, 3 market. So there's nothing for me to do here. If I need to get in, and I really believe in this project, I see this volume is setting up, and I just believe that this is the moment, I could do it. But again, I start off really small, and it may be just the perfect moment that you could add on to it later, and you would have your stop loss above your average entry. All good. I ain't playing in this one. Let's go take a look at Lend. Lend, LLL. Okay, Lend is another coin that we had in our trades. And you can see it. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Not only just the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, but it also turned into a really nice ascending wedge here. A really nice ascending wedge here. And as it broke out of that, there's nothing to do. Put your stops above and sit back. And really, for my own part, we have a position in this. The stop is just above the entry. And because I'm anticipating that we're going to get some pain from Bitcoin, I wouldn't be surprised if this came all the way back to retest these levels. And since I have a profitable position and I don't want to do any work, I don't want to be jumping in and out. That's not the style of trading I'm setting up for. I'm setting up to catch the big long trend move. And so I only have 1% of my entire account in this market. I'm going to leave my stop all the way back here. And I've done this before, and I've told the same story before, that a range trader right now would take profit on this and be happy. I'm looking for the long move, and so I'm willing to risk all of this potential profit for the larger potential. And it definitely doesn't work well if we are in a downtrend or a sideways market. I make less money. So you need to know that in when you're setting up your stops and how you are anticipating your trade and what are you doing with it in the long run. And so now let's zoom in a little closer and see what's going on with this, because it actually kind of looks like Neo, right? With this ascending lower, higher lows going on. And yet it's not a signal I can be acting on yet. It's really got to pull back a little bit more than that for me in order to give me that add-on spot. And so generally, even though I'm not much of a Fibonacci overall, I do look at the 50% retracement rule for most every move that moves. So no matter what it is, I just look from the high to the low in the recent time frame and then look for the 50% level. 50% level is pretty good. 38.2 is also pretty good. Things will come back to these levels. And when it does, and it gives me the 1, 2, 3 formation, and at the same time we can see underneath that the indicators are looking good, then I'm going to jump into it. I didn't look at the indicators under this. Not much help here in the RSI, except that it's nicely mid-level. And really, if it breaks higher than this, as we're breaking out of this triangle, it is a trading signal. Whether I would act on it or not is a different story. You would be able to recognize this is a tiny 1, 2, 3 formation right at the point there. You get your small risk to reward ratio, watch the indicators. But for me, I actually want to sell it right there. This is the top formation that I don't want to buy it right now from this. When I look at the trend line here, it's already made the top formation, come up and retested it and failed. So it's got a lot of work for me to do to add on to it here. But I'm glad I got into it earlier. That's good. Why are people complaining about maybe why people complaining about speak voice previously? Is it too far from mouth? A little echoing. Yeah, the mic is echoing. And yesterday I started using the Streamlabs OBS streamer. And I don't know why I have the echo, but I'll do some research. And it is right, if I do move away from the mic, it really does affect the volume. So I appreciate that. Peppy Ziki. For me, it's okay, but I'm thinking I've been better previously. The other streaming software seemed to be better with the mic sound. So let me see. No, the microphone gain is way up, so this is with the gain way down. That's about all I can do on this setup. The sound is maxed right out, so hopefully this works. All right, so let's go back to Bitcoin. And you know, this looks like some of the other patterns we were just looking at. As I'm looking at Neo, I'm saying that it is making this formation. I'm liking it, but it's kind of a top formation. I'm nervous about it. Then I look at Bitcoin, it's making like almost the same formation, and I'm all bullish on Bitcoin. So one of them may not be correct. But this still looks crazy bullish to me off of these levels, and the indicators are matching it. So I want to quickly go back to the other chart and double check what's going on with the MACD indicator all through the different time frames, because as this is crossing positive or negative right now at the point of this tip, it's really important. It sounds like I'm in a big stadium. 3-hour time frame. So this is the worrisome one. With the 12-hour is crossed to the negative. Here I'm waiting for the 4-hour to cross to the positive, but it hasn't yet. So if this continues to flare to the negative as we're breaking those levels, that would be pretty important to pay attention to. When we get into the 1-hour time frame, again, it is just crossed to the positive. So it is holding this stance right here. So long as this is holding its stance, I believe the 4-hour is going to be pulled to cross to the positive, and that is going to be at the very same time that Bitcoin is breaking out. So I love to identify these specifics. Specific patterns matched with these indicators, record it, go on about our day. Months from now, we can come back and rewatch this, and I hope this is turning into some great stuff going on. Huge bull flag, bears will get wrecked soon. DCN, why is that not ringing a bell to me? DCN. Because it's over on HitBTC. And it's only traded with ETH. ADCN? I don't know this coin at all. Somebody else does. It's been trading for a while, and look at the volume going on in there. What's up? I like the volume. The daily kind of looks like the 4-hour on Bitcoin, right? Pulling back and preparing to cross the other way. So if I go to the 12-hour as it crossed, well, we're getting an argument here. Now, I can't play in this one until it gives me a bottom formation, but I would be watching for it to come back, give me the 1, 2, 3, and build up off of these levels. Then we'd have higher lows while we have a cross to the positive, and whenever this does a cross to the positive, that would be really good, you know, if it would give us this formation. But there's nothing for me to do in this chart pattern. No matter what it was, no matter what coin it was or anything, I wouldn't be able to play here until it gives me that. Even if it bounced straight up from here, I wouldn't be able to play. This one would have been hard for me as well. It just doesn't match what I'm trying to do. It's got the lower lows, and then this little 1, 2, 3, man, that is such a small time frame that those ones get past me. And I try to filter them out so that I'm not FOMOing in on something that looks good and then it pulls back and I'm holding the bag. I don't wanna. So this one makes me have to wait now until above these levels, or at least above these levels, where it is building some structure up above this, and then I could be playing in there. So pretty interesting volume in that. So that is pretty cool. I don't know. I probably won't do anything with it at all, because although I do have coin over on HitBTC, I don't think, maybe that's one exchange I don't trade on at all. And so I won't be trading that one. Just speaking of other exchanges making phenomenal chart patterns with a business plan that is similar to what BNB did earlier, it may be that KuCoin is in a formation pattern that could be Lambo material. Don't know. WANcoin, BTS. BTS. I have some WANcoin. Let's go to BTC. Scroll down to BTS. I was a big fan of BTS. I really liked it, and the coins that I like the most, I seem to lose the most money on. I made a good profit out of this, and I remember a guy in our community saying on this day, "Are you going to sell now?" I said, "No, this is just the beginning." And sold with a small profit. Down, 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 down. Down, down, down. Down to a very nice pointed triangle. 1 year view. 3-month view. So we have a bowl shape change in the MACD indicator as well. Let me open this up. I like the bowl shape change, and I like that we have the cross to the positive and the cross to the positive. Look how significant this is in September compared to the price chart. That is a very significant divergence setting up right there. And so then it makes this chart pattern more exciting that we have a really tight triangle, and inside that triangle we have our 1, 2, 3 shaping up. So across to the positive here and a breakout from this is beautiful. It's insane. And if you know the history of this coin, and we don't have it here, I always pull up the history of this coin when I'm talking about the long-term bull and bear markets in cryptos, because this matched all of them very well. And this was a coin I was also bag holding all the way through here in 2016, all the way through 2017. It was a terrible time, and really, really like a super terrible exhaustion right here. Are we going to see something like this in the alts right now? This occurred when Bitcoin went up and blasted, all the alts freaked out. Then Bitcoin came down significantly, and as Bitcoin started to go up from this point here, it was at $1,000. It went up from $1,000 to $3,000 in this period of time, from March until June or July. And through this period, all the alts went crazy. But we can see that there was a flushing period just before the madness. And then, of course, after this madness, this is the big one, all of the alts went on a big downtrend again as Bitcoin continued from $3,000 up to $20,000. And it absolutely crushed the alts down to oblivion before things started to take off again. We had a great potential bottom here, November of 2017. And then in December, all despair came in again, just as we are now, as prices came down, Bitcoin was doing its thing, and the alts got another panic. So this is where I believe we are now. If I go to the current time and look at the daily view, this is kind of what we're into now, where we have this great potential bottom formation set up. And if Bitcoin breaks off out of this dominance and this continues to go up, then that will show us all of these alts getting crushed. Where are we? That will show us all those alts getting that one little bit of crushage just before the things all take off. So even if these start to come down into some significant lows, it's a really important time to be watching and be ready. Be watching and be ready. Don't let this discourage you. Don't let this kick you out. I wouldn't say that this is a time to fold your cryptos, even if they are going down from here. And I could be completely wrong, but there's really not that much more wrong on the downside to go. That's the benefit of this kind of trading approach. Has the Doge cycle begin? I didn't do WAN coin yet. Let's go to WAN coin. And I want to do it because I think I did an alert on it this morning. WAN. Yes. So let's go look at WAN coin. W. What time is it? Oh, wow. What a long live stream. Holy. Missing yoga. Won't make it in time. WAN coin is 1 year time frame. Made a huge move down. Got some massive buy-in here. And now it's come back. So for me, this has already given us the hello wave. This is the gong saying, hello, this is big. That's a lot of volume. That's not just crowds of people. That's an institutional purchase right there. And so that it's come back and given us this nice range. It's like the train has left and then came back for the rest of us to get on. And as we're seeing this crossing to the positive on the 1 day view, wow, that is significant. 12-hour view is already crossing positive. Moving to the 4-hour time frame, we've got a divergence crossing to the positive, a double cross to the positive, a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation set up. Beautiful, just phenomenal. 1 hour time frame isn't as excited yet. This has to cross positive. We haven't broken out yet. So even though it's looking amazing, it hasn't broken out yet. And with Bitcoin dominance on the teeter edge and Bitcoin where it is, this could pull back more from where it is yet. It's not blasting out, but it's giving us all the signs of setting up. So again, it could be something that you could purchase in with a little bit of a limit order, and you have to be ready to accept the risk of it going sideways for a long time or going down further in a capitulation low. But really, it's phenomenal. So it's not a signal. I guess it's a very small signal at this range. It'll be an add-on signal later, and it wouldn't be a signal in this the simple trading plan because we need the 12-hour EMAs to cross. Where are they? 1 day, clear this off. So the 1 days are not crossed, they're still negative. The 12-hour is coming up close. This has got all of the conditions now. A break above this will likely make this cross to the positive. We're looking good on this. So it is just a matter of watching Bitcoin dominance to see what goes on. If it's going to break higher from this flag, these alts are going to get crushed. And I don't know how much higher it can go. If we go to the weekly view, 1 week view, and zoom in on this, Bitcoin dominance has the potential to do a move up into this range and really hammer the alts. This will really crush them big time. If we start going here, we're going to get tons and tons of failing markets going down to new lows, and they'll all happen at the same time. And our spreadsheet, where is it anyway? This is the November patron spreadsheet. The October spreadsheet is closed now and not shareable. And here now you can purchase the Bull Market Watch membership and you would get access to see this. You would be able to log in and see all of the data that we have. And the most important data right now is that instead of just looking at Bitcoin dominance, we're looking and splitting that out like a prism. Where the Bitcoin dominance is just the white light, we put the prism and we can break apart which are the coins that we should be holding, which are neutral, and which ones we should be getting rid of. And so I was talking about earlier in the episode, the time frame in Bitcoin dominance from, clear this off, zoom into the 2-hour bar again. It'll probably take a bit to load up. I was looking at this part of the chart here as Bitcoin dominance was dropping through this period, and I was saying I was going to show you what we were doing through that period. So if I go over to the data here, where every market is color coded all the way through everything on Binance, you can just scroll along and see any market that you want. As we go all the way over to the end and bring it down to the current time, you can see that from October the 11th, 12th, 13th, all the way along, we've been shedding our holding coins. We've been reducing our holds from the 79 that we were holding down to 31, down to 7 of them. We're only holding 13 coins right now. We've been slowly shedding off all of those coins as we've been going through this movement in the Bitcoin dominance. Right through this period, right here, we were already shedding off our alts. And that's like half the important part of trading, not just where to get in. Right, here's when we were getting in, way back in September 10th. We made some profits, got up to a peak of number of coins that we're holding, and we were already moving out. So if all coins are going to drop sharply from here, we are set. We are already set into Bitcoin. We've already moved back out of altcoins into Bitcoin. So if you're interested in that kind of information, you can get details on how to build your crypto portfolio simplified, made into a color-coded spreadsheet so that you can see when it's in alert status, when you should be holding it, when you should be exiting. Really simple, and it covers everything on Binance and everything on Poloniex. So you get the buy and sell signals, which are color-coded. You get wicked community support. We are there for you all the time. You get tons of knowledge and information as well because you get 3 different books that I've written all about the trading plan. And if the Bull Market Watch is good for you and you're just wanting the color-coded spreadsheet, it's the cheapest, most powerful thing you can get for crypto trading. Really. If you are a more active trader and you want to get into more detail and more aggressive trade entries and exits, and you want to have a bunch of that work done for you, this is for you. And this is what I'm trying to do, is not sell you the trading system. You can go and learn that for free over the web, on the website, download the free webinar, and you can learn everything. But if you want to have some of that work taken care of for you every day, then these services are worth it. They really give you value, and you're not just supporting the stream out of goodness of your heart. Okay, so prices have been moving up as we've been talking along here. This is the significant trades. Let me share this in the chat, because this is better than the 1 minute chart. And now let's go look at Dogecoin. Dogecoin. I have a real big belief in Dogecoin because it is Bitcoin, right? It's right back at the very beginning when Bitcoin was first starting out. They just took the code for Bitcoin and they changed some of the parameters and they re-released it as Dogecoin. And so Dogecoin has all of the fixes and all of the technology that Bitcoin does, because Bitcoin is open source. And so they have been integrating that technology into Dogecoin as things are going along. Doge isn't ready, but it is giving us the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation setup. So we've got the bull and the handle. Next is the fun. So we've got the cup with handle. Inside this is the 1, 2, 3 formation. If I drag this back to where we can see it, it's not as clear where the 1, 2, 3 formation is in this. Now it's starting to give us the clearer 1, 2, 3, where this is the number 1 point, this is the number 2, and this is the number 3. Breaks above these levels are party time. And I'm biased and I don't know, I can't know the future, but I think it's going to do better than it did in the past in this next pump. So if I go to the weekly view, clear the stuff off, zoom it back, that's all I can do. It pumps like crazy when it does go, and it comes off of these crazy low levels. This time I think it's going to go and stage over 300 Satoshi. So it's going to be a 10 times coin. 1, 2, 3 bottom, it's going to be a 10 times coin. Putting 50 bucks into this will turn into 500. And if you put 50 bucks into this, and later in 6 months or 12 or 18 months, it turns into that $500, I want your testimonial. I want you to come back to the channel and leave a comment. And I've got tons of those comments when we were doing the trades in 2017. It was amazing, because I was tracking all of these bottom formations. I was making videos about the bottom formations. It was crazy. And the profits that we made. It was phenomenal fun to read all of the comments under the videos, and the people who were taking my course and everything. That's the most rewarding stuff. Does the Pro give you access to the spreadsheets too in the Bull Market Watch? The Bull Market Watch, yeah, you get both for sure. But let me go to the finance alerts here. So here's a sneak peek. Everybody watching right now, you can actually save this screenshot and it'll be good for you. Here we have all of the alerts. We can see the current Bitcoin value. This is drawn in from the internet. We can see our status. You can see the target entry, the profit target, and the stop loss. We also give you the screenshot of it. Then you get the risk and risk to reward ratio of it, so that you can sort it by these. You see the risk to reward ratio, the symbol. You get the market cap of the coin. You get the last US dollar value if you like to trade by USD value, the 24-hour change, the volume, the BTC market cap, and whether or not it is a decentralized finance currency or not. Those are a different way you can sort this. So you get tons of information done for you in the alerts package, and you also get access to the color-coded spreadsheet so that you can make more general views of everything, and then you can use the Pro spreadsheet to zoom into. Now the Pro spreadsheet is part of the good stuff, but the other part is over in our Discord chat, where you get these alerts coming here live real time. So when I create a new alert in the spreadsheet, it is published here instantly. As you can see this morning, MTL, And as the spreadsheet recognizes that the target entry has been hit, it automatically sends out a notification here. So if the stop has been hit, it automatically sends out a notification here, and it updates it in the spreadsheet so that you can go and check it out on the website and keep current on what's going on. You can also take a look at the spreadsheet and narrow it down to just what's going on today. So it's phenomenal. It's what I use for my trading. And I love it because when somebody asks me a question in our Discord chat, what about this coin? I just open up the spreadsheet and then boom, I've got the details, not just my opinion, but the specific details that match the trading plan. It's nothing that you can't do on your own. It's absolutely, you could learn this stuff and absolutely do it. Watch this free live stream, get the free webinar, check out the free stuff on Discord. You can absolutely do this stuff all on your own. It's not hidden. There's nothing secret. It's not hard. It's a lot of work. And if you want to have some of that work done for you every day, it's worth it. Way worth it. I see other features, other guys out there charging $295 a month for a very similar service. I went and checked them out. I looked through everything that they're doing. We're covering everything on Binance for the one price. Insane. It's a labor of love. Now, let me go back to the chat. I'm a little lost here. Dogecoin. Oh yeah, Dogecoin. I'm telling you, it's phenomenal. When Bitcoin breaks out, the alts will crash. How do you determine the possible bottom for the alts? I try not to determine possible bottoms and possible tops. I'll very seldom see me say, this is my projection, this is my profit target. Because I have a hard enough time getting into the entries correctly. Never mind guessing where it's going to go as well. That's not my job. My job is only to protect myself against the losses at the beginning of a trade. After that, it's up to the market. And if I try to guess where the market is going, I'm doing the market's job, and I always do it more poorly than the market actually. And so I don't know where they're going to go down to. Instead, I watch for the 1, 2, 3 bottom, and then I take my action after that. Break of the downtrend line, exponential moving averages crossing over, do it. Do it with a percentage of your account, do it for all of the coins on the market, and you will filter out to only buy into the ones that are going, and we will stay out of the ones that are not going. And on average, you are moving with the tide of the entire market, and we're not betting on any one coin. And I got this strategy from reading the book Reminiscences of a Stock Operator, and from years of practicing and studying it, that the more diversified approach with the entire market trend is the way to go. And you could see, we were already showing here that our diversified approach helped us get out at the right time too. This is the key. That's the kicker. Getting in is easy. Knowing when to get out, that's the hardest part. And most people take their profits too soon, or they hold it after the top is gone and a good trade turns into a bad one. These are normal, regular mistakes in trading that without somebody teaching you the other way to do it, you may make that mistake a lot of times before you start correcting it. So again, I think the courses that I provide, the services I provide are way worth the fee for it. I'm an evangelist. I love it. And I do benefit if you join up. I get more questions. It helps me refine things. It helps me get better at it. We had some really great guys recently helping me improve the whole service. We've come up a whole new level with everything. Boom, boom. Hey, the Enforcer, I see you over on our Discord chat. Where? So everybody else will have targets for it, and I don't have targets. I let the market tell me the targets. So I'll hold this now until after the 1, 2, 3 top formation. So I don't look to get out at the top. I really do wait for after the top formation to show me that it's time to get out. That way I'm hoping that I'm not going to miss the really big moves. That's the philosophy. That's the study. So my target isn't 12K. My target is way higher than that. 25 times long BTC, I'm praying for you. This is, I'm 10 times long. So I'm not as long as you are, but let's go. And it is looking great. Phenomenal. Let's go. Anyway, I'm going to sign off here. I've missed my yoga class this morning, but that's okay. There's another one coming up. And I've got a few more alerts to do in our spreadsheet because even though this is moving, I'm still scanning through all of the alts to be sure that I am catching any of the 1, 2, 3 bottoms as they're setting up, any of the springboard variations as they're setting up. I want to have that data in the spreadsheet. Then you can decide if it is a trading coin for you. And then we can track later what are the best trading entries. Is it the 1, 2, 3 bottom on the 4-hour time frame? Is it on the 12-hour time frame? Is it the springboard trade entry? Is it the range trade breakout? Is it a swing trade entry using the Bollinger Bands reversion entry? All of those data that we can pull together after time, and we can start to sort through and get more clear on the best strategies. Love it. So thanks again, guys. I will see you over, and I hate when people say guys, because I know there are women watching this. We'll see you over on our Discord chat. Cheers and all the best in your crypto trading. Let me now find my streaming software and head back to the Starting Soon page. Cheers.